राधे वृंदावनि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभुनंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, I welcome you all for today's session on Mahajans, Lord Shiva. And first disclaimer, whatever I speak that is from Srimad Bhagavatam and whatever I heard from all my Siksha Gurus. And there are so many Siksha Gurus from whom I hear every day here at GEV and also online Amarendra Prabhu and my Bhakti Vaibhav teacher Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, and there are many others like SB Keshava Swami Maharaj, and I hear from Radhesham Prabhu. Of course, he has trained us when I was in Hyderabad. So my gratitude to all of them, and also my spiritual master, and who has given me another life. So we'll see the qualities of Lord Shiva. First, we will see to understand Lord Shiva. Who is Lord Shiva? What is his position and his qualities? And first, we will see what his position is. For that, we have to start from the beginning, the source, Sarvakarana Karanam. So I hope you all have heard in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So he is the source of everyone, all the demigods, all the jivas, and all the energies, like internal energy, external energy. For that, we will see this flow chart. I hope Deepti Mataji is ready with that screen sharing. Yeah, we see this first source is Shyama Sundara. So Karuna Radhika Mataji will be very happy to see this. Shyama Sundara is the Swayam Rupa, the original form of Krishna as cowherd boy in Vraja. So we hear from Acharyas how Sri Krishna originally, he was actually born in Vraja and he never leaves Vraja. So that is the original form of Shyama Sundara, Krishna. He resides in Vraja, he never leaves Vrindavan. And from him expands Swayam Prakasha. So you can little bit expand that part of Mataji so that it will be visible to, if possible. So his own expansions are two types. One is Prabhava Prakasha and Vaibhava Prakasha. So Prabhava Prakasha is the same Shyama Sundara, Krishna in Vrajabhumi, as many Krishnas dances with the gopis in Rasa dance. And The other instance, we see Krishna expanding in the palaces, 16,000 palaces, to be with his 16,000 wives in Dwarka at a time. So whenever we hear from Srila Prabhupada, when someone tries to imitate Krishna by having many girlfriends, so Prabhupada would say, can you expand like Krishna? And can you lift Govardhan like Krishna? So this is the test. So we see Vaibhava Prakasha, his form differently expanded according to different emotional features. So this is outside Vrindavan. It can be in Mathura as Vasudeva Krishna and Balaram. Balaram, of course, he is his own expansion as Sevak Bhagavan, and Krishna is Sevya Bhagavan. Both are Bhagavans. And from Balaram is also called Tadekatma Rupa. Tadekatma Rupa means his own reflection. So next comes Vilasa. His form, Tadekatma Rupa is his form, transcendental emotions differently manifested, right? Next comes Vilasa, the pastime expansions here. So in Vilasa, we see the first quadruple expansion comes. Adi Chatur Vyuha comes. So to perform different pastimes, he can expand his plenary portions, can expand, and we see Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, first quadruple expansions. So this Vasudeva is the master of consciousness and cause of Brahma Jyoti. So in the spiritual world, we hear that there is no sun, no moon, na bhasayate suryo, na shashanko, na pavaka. So then how is it illuminated? It is through this Brahma Jyoti, and that comes from this Vasudeva. And Vasudeva is the master of consciousness. From Vasudeva comes Sankarshan. And Sankarshan is the master of false ego. So when the material creation is going to start, before that, there is so many things happen. From Sankarshan comes Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. This is Purushavatara. And he is the in charge of false ego. It is pure. Actually, ego is the in charge of ego that is pure, just like the water present in the clouds, which is very pure, unless until it drops on the land. When it drops on the land, it becomes contaminated. Similarly, the false, ego originally is pure, but when it comes in contact with material modes, which manifest later, sattva, rajas, tamo gunas in the pradhana, then the contamination happens. So Sankarshan is the cause of both integrating and disintegrating. That means creation as well as destruction, annihilation of he is the power, integrating and disintegrating power of the Supreme Lord, and maintains the law of gravity. So from we hear many times Lord Shiva worshipping Sankarshan, because Sankarshan is the source of Lord Shiva, because He is involved in annihilation and he is his master. Sankarshan is the master of Lord Shiva because he is in charge of both creation and integration. Next, from Sankarshan comes Pradyumna. He is the in charge of intelligence. And from him comes Garbhodakasai Vishnu, second Purushavatara. And this Kshirodakasai Vishnu, first Purushavatara, is the cause of whole material cosmic creation. And this Garbhodakasai Vishnu, second Purushavatara, enters as Paramatma of each and every universe. And from Pradyumna comes Aniruddha. He is the in charge of mind. And from him comes Kshirodakasai Vishnu. He is the Paramatma seated in every living entity's heart. So Karanodakasai Vishnu is the Paramatma of entire cosmic creation. Garbhodakasai Vishnu is the Paramatma of each universe. And Kshirodakasai Vishnu is the Paramatma, individual Paramatma residing in the heart of each one of us, all living beings. Then comes Vaibhava Vilasa. This is present in, manifested in Vaikuntha. So the opulence, Vaibhava Vilasa. From Narayana comes the second Chaturvyuha. So second Chaturvyuha also has Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And Vasudeva, from Vasudeva comes Adhokshaja, Purushottama, and his plenary expansions, Keshava, Narayana, Madhava. Second Narayana. He is Adi Narayana, from whom the second Chaturvyuha comes. And Sankarshan, from Sankarshan comes Upendra and Achyuta. His plenary expansions, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana. Next, Pradyumna, from him comes Nrsimha, Janardana. And from his plenary expansions, Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara. And from Aniruddha comes Hari, Krishna. And his plenary expansions are Rishikesha, Padmanabha, Damodara. So from Sankarshana, this second Chaturvyuha, Swamsha, he expands these three Purushavataras, right? As we discussed, as Paramatmas of all at three levels of in the creation. So this, what is a Swamsha? It is a personal expansion. So from Kshirodakasai Vishnu, that is individual Paramatma, comes different avatars. That Leela avatars, Guna avatars, Shaktyavesh avatars, Yuga avatars, and Manvantara avatars. So Leela avatars, under Leela avatars, we see, for example, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, like that. So they come, they perform some Leela. There is a purpose behind that avatara. They fulfill that and they go back. So Gunavataras.
First of one battle is participation. First of one battle is a participation. First of one battle of mango.
So Gunavataras, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are considered as Gunavataras. So Brahmaji is a Jiva like us who has acquired a lot of piety, and for 100 lifetimes not committing a single offense, one can attain the post of Brahma. And Vishnu comes from Narayana, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, and Shiva. So how does this Shiva comes? We will see in the next picture. Then we have Shakti Avesh avatars. There are two types. One is Bhagavata Avesh avatara, like Rishabh Dev, Kapila Dev. They come for doing some specific thing. Like Kapila Dev comes to teach Sankhya philosophy. And second one is Vibhutis. This is not a direct expansion of or Avesha. It is a Krishna's energy empowers, like his opulences, vibhutis. Indirect avatars are Seshanag, Ananta, Brahma, like that. And Yuga avatars, each Yuga has a specific avatara which has for which in Srimad Bhagavatam is given the colors, the time, and what they carry and what they perform, leelas. Like Satya Yuga, Shukla Varna, and Treta Yuga, Rakta Varna, that is reddish, and Dwapar Yuga, Shyama Varna, Krishna, and Kali, black, Krishna Varna, that is Kalki. But in special cycle, in special Kali Yuga, like our present Kali Yuga comes in a special cycle. So Krishna comes in a different color, that is golden, and he comes in a hidden form, that is not as a Bhagavan, but as a devotee, bhakta. There is some disturbance.
Everybody kindly mute, please.
And the Manvantara avatars, for example, Swayambhuva Manu, Swarochisha Manu, Uttanapada, like that. They are all empowered or expanded by from Mahavishnus. So this is the position of Lord Shiva. So we will go to that Golaka chart. Here we see how Lord Shiva manifests. During the creation, when Karanodaka Sai Vishnu decides to create, please expand that Lord Mahavishnu. Yeah, no, previous one. The middle portion, can we see that Mahavishnu? Okay, our picture will go. Okay, next picture we will go. So when Karanodaka Sai Vishnu lies down in the casual ocean, desiring to create, then Rama Devi sheds a shadow. That is material Mahamaya, that becomes Mahamaya, Durga Devi. Then Karanodaka Sai Vishnu impregnates her with his druk, means his vision. So by his glance, by glancing upon her, he impregnates all the jivas as the seeds in her womb. That is why he says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham bija pratapitah. So when the living entities are injected into this pradhana, the dead, dull, inactive pradhana becomes activated by the three modes, time, and the 24 elements, all the five Jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, and 5 senses of sense of speech, touch, hearing, smell, all the 5 kinds of senses, and mind, intelligence, false ego, pancha mahabhutas, and the ego of what is that, the 24th one? So total 24 elements are injected and it becomes active, and from he enters into each universe as Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and from his navel sprouts lotus. From that lotus appears Lord Brahma, and he will be given all the whole blueprint of the universe, how to create, how to fill the 14 levels of planetary systems with different kinds of varieties of species, and based on their pious credits, how what kind of bodies they are to be given. Everything will be given to Lord Brahma and he implements it. So he is called as secondary creator. He is not the primary creator. So next comes Lord Shiva. Here comes Lord Shiva, his role. Why does Lord become angry? We often hear that Lord Shiva is involved with the annihilation. So for anything to be annihilated, to be destroyed, you need some passion or anger, right? So why would Lord become angry? And we want to know what the difference between the anger of, what is the difference between the anger of Lord and our anger, all Jiva's anger. Can anyone say, want to express their thoughts? Anyone want to express their thoughts? The difference between the anger of the Lord and
Hare Krishna Mataji.
yes, Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Mataji, like the Lord's anger, like we can take the example of Hanumanji. He got angry and he had burnt all the Lanka. So it is for he was doing service for the Lord Ram. So they are like the service or it's for the well-being of the society. Like when they killed so many Rakshasas, it was for saving his devotees. So it's that. And the human being anger is when we don't get anything like materially, so we get angry because of that lust and all. So that's the difference, Mataji.
Yeah. Basically, it is selfless anger. The Lord's anger is selfless anger. Like a mother becomes angry with a naughty child, wants to chastise the child and correct the child. The mother becomes angry, shows angry, right? Sometimes beating also, sometimes chastising, sometimes punishing in some other way. Her intention is to bring some change in the behavior of the child. But our anger is, we are selfish. We are like that child. Child is always full of selfish desires. What they of their needs, of one's own needs, are not fulfilled, they become angry, or they become hat karna, ziddi. So they want it like that. So this is like self-centered, and that is selfless. So that is why we see whenever Lord becomes angry, that doesn't cause harm to that living entity. That uplifts the living entity. Even the anger can uplift the living entity. That is why we see all the demons killed by the Lord. got liberation. And whereas our anger, we only see destruction, right? So there is a main difference is that we see the same quality in his pure devotees. So Lord Shiva is a pure devotee. Vaishnavanam Yatasham. He is the Param Vaishnava. So he also carries the same quality of the Lord. So he becomes angry at the time of annihilation. So thinking that, expressing his dissatisfaction with the jivas. What is that? What is the cause of that dissatisfaction?
They want to enjoy in the material world, Mataji.
So when we wanted to enjoy separate from Krishna selfishly, that caused him to create this world. So he had to provide all the facilities, and it is like a addiction we see, for example, in this material world. Drunkards or drug addicts, if they want to become free from those addictions, they are sent to the rehabilitation centers. And what they do there, they train them slowly, reduce the dose, and finally they help them develop that strength to cope without that. So they come out of that addiction. Similarly, this world is like a rehabilitation center for all those jivas who are addicted to enjoy selfishly by creating the calamities. We see so many wars going on, so much suffering going on in and around. So by seeing that, at least sometime, at some point, the jivas will think, why am I here? Why am I undergoing this? Then the return journey starts. So that is the purpose. After creating so many facilities, 14 levels of planetary systems, and if you go up and up, the above Bhuvar, Swarg, Janar, Mahar, Tapar, you see the facilities there, and the consciousness is much more and expanded, and the space also, and all this is to provide them to finally come closer to Krishna. So when those who those who develop a desire to go back to him and join him back in the service and be happy, then they are provided to do pure devotional service. So after Lord has created so many things, government to govern this cosmic creation, universal government with the demigods, and all these demigods have so many duties, higher administration. So with all this, still the living entities are not taking up to the process, devotional service. They failed in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, now Kali Yuga. Even after, at the end of Kali Yuga, you see many living entities. So we have failed so many yugas, now we are here. So this is, and we ourselves can experience how naughty we have been. So at least now we should realize and take up to this process seriously. So that is why Shiva becomes angry like a mother. And then he does Tandava Nritya and Sankarshan. From Sankarshan is serpent form. From his mouth, you see three multi-hooded heads, heads. That is only the three here in this small picture. But he is he has many unlimited. So all those hoods, from all those hoods, the fire starts coming, and that blazing fire burns out all the whole universe, and the whole universe become like a shell, burnt shell. So that is annihilation. So what is the role of Lord Shiva as a devotee? We see Lord Shiva has his own sampradaya, Rudra sampradaya. We have much time is there? So there are bona fide sampradayas like Lakshmi Sampradaya, Brahma Matva Gaudiya Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, and Rudra Sampradaya. All these four are bona fide, and they teach pure devotion to the Lord, Supreme Lord, and the Acharyas representing the four different sampradayas. In Rudra Sampradaya, it is Vishnu Swami, who has a disciple, Bilva Mangal Thakur, and who has a disciple, Vallabhacharya. Nowadays, nobody is much familiar with Vishnu Swami because his literary works, Sandalya Samhita, all that were due to time, due course of time, they were lost. So now everybody identifies with Vallabhacharya only, this Rudra Sampradaya. And it is also called as Vallabha Sampradaya. It is also called as Pusti Marga. So, and the other Sampradayas are like Lakshmi Sampradaya, Acharya is Ramanujacharya, and Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, all familiar with that. And Baldev Vidya Bhushan, and there is this. So there is one more sampradaya, which is Smartha Sampradaya, which is established by Adi Shankaracharya. So who is Adi Shankaracharya? We see Lord Shiva and any pure devotee is like, they act like a puppet in the hands of the Lord. And they, according to his will and desire, they take great risks and they perform humanly impossible tasks. Like at one point of time, people were doing tasks, but only for the sake of, in the yagyas, they used to sacrifice cows and horses. Ashwamedha yagya, Gomedha yagya, like that. But at one point, they have become very ritualistic, and they lost that spirit and purity, so they could not give the fresh life for the living being which is being sacrificed, or the animal sacrificed in that yagya. So for that, the whole process has become contaminated. So when we see, when a building is infested with rodents and is in a dilapidated condition, what do? First, they break it down and they start from the foundation. Similarly, when the system got corrupted and the people were, many innocent were blindly following, and the leaders were so much corrupted, so they have to completely abandon that. So Buddha, Lord appeared as Buddha and completely diverted the masses. And he said, stop doing sacrifices, stop following Vedas, just become non-violent. So at that time, Buddhism became very popular and all over India, in the whole subcontinent of India. And when this happened at that time, next, they have to be elevated to the next level, because for the degraded masses, you cannot give pure bhakti. So the next level promotion has to be given by re-establishing the authority of Vedas. So only a pure devotee like Shiva can do that. So Lord Shiva has been ordered, and he comes as a Shankaracharya, and he starts re-establishing the uh, uh, authority of Vedas. And he drove away Buddhism from all over India subcontinent. Now Buddhism remains only in the, I mean, initially it was driven into China. Now it is remaining only in the few countries, small countries like Tibet, Myanmar, and somewhere. So how he did that? By establishing Advaita Siddhanta, by attracting the people that, you see, this is all illusion. You are Sachidananda. So, and he didn't define there is a Paramatma, we are Jivatma. So they started thinking that everything is one. When we regain our purity, we become one with the God. So this is like merging with the God. And at least they would accept the authority of Vedas. So this was the purpose. And being a pure devotee, pure Vaishnava, it would be very painful to preach this Mayavada. You and God are same. How can a pure Vaishnava can preach that? But that Lord Shiva did it for the purpose of uh, elevating the society. Then comes Advaita, uh, Madhvacharya. He establishes, Dvaita. Madhvacharya establishes the Dvaita Siddhanta, that there is Bhagavan, there is Jiva, and there is Prakriti. Three things are there existing. And these three may be one, but uh, uh, in quality. Like next comes Visishta Advaita by Ramanujacharya, and he said that this Jivatma is the servant of Paramatma. So Prakriti acts as the facilitates that. So either you have to be under the internal energy or external energy. Then comes Achintya Veda Veda. Baladev Vidyabhushan establishes this, and Lord Chaitanya propagated this. And Achintya Veda Veda, you see that, I'm sorry, I may mess up with the chronological order, like who did first, and I'm not sure, Baladev Vidyabhushan came later, but Lord Chaitanya first established this Achintya Veda Veda, but he didn't give any elaborated literature. He gave the Sikshastakam. Then he inspired and instructed Goswamis and other acharyas to write. So they have written vast literature based on this principle. So the jiva being insignificant, the size of the jiva is 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair, and the Paramatma is unlimited. So it has to be, and Tatastha Shakti comes under Tatastha Shakti. Krishna's energies are broadly classified into external energy, internal energy, and marginal potency. So internal energy is Yogamaya. Whoever wants to go back to Krishna, they take shelter of internal energy. That is Srimati Radharani, Mother Lakshmi. And whoever wants to remain here and enjoy or lord it over, then they will be put under the custody of external energy. So being Tatastha Shakti, Jiva cannot be completely independent, but have the independent desire, free will. We see this marginal energy, that is external energy, is Nija Shakti. She has no free will. She is direct energy of the Lord. So she doesn't have any free will. She doesn't exercise her, or even the Yogamaya. So they are Lord's Nija Shaktis. But you and me, we are not his direct energies. We have been given that little freedom, whether to serve him or not. But we have seen by not serving, what will the living entities undergo under the custody of external energy. So once they realize, they take shelter of the Srimati Radharani and they start, they come in contact with devotees, they start their Shuddha Bhakti. So Lord Shiva talks to Prachetas. Who are Prachetas? Sons of Prachina Bari. So these Prachetas go to forest to perform tapasya, and there Lord Shiva becomes pleased by their devotion service they were rendering together. And when he was pleased, he appears himself without being asked. Prachetas. So when he appears from that sarovar in front of them, he appears in the golden color, and he is so effulgent and very beautiful, and he was smiling. He smiles by seeing them, and he talks to them. He actually, along with them, he sings Rudra Gita, glorifying the Supreme Lord. And the conversation between Lord Shiva and the Prachetas, we see Lord Shiva says, the Lord's devotees are very dear to me, and I'm very dear to Lord's devotees. So that is why I have come in front of you. So Prachetas say, please teach us how to glorify the Lord. Then he starts singing Rudra Gita. When a devotee wants to glorify the Lord, the Lord gives him all intelligence and knowledge to glorify him. So he gives all the instructions from within. And as sadhakas, but pure devotees, this is for pure devotees. But as sadhakas, we get instructions from his scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and Acharyas, our gurus. And Krishna is not disturbed in that Rudra Gita. Lord Shiva glorifies Supreme Lord. You are so merciful, beautiful, that you are never disturbed by these 6 changes. Any living entity, any conditioned soul becomes disturbed, agitated in these 6 stages, like thirst, hunger, aggrieved due to some loss, and illusion, old age, and on the deathbed. But Supreme Lord never becomes disturbed. Even if one curses him, we see many instances in Mahabharata. Like Gandhari curses Krishna after Kurukshetra battle. He's never disturbed. So, as Sankarshana, master of both integration and disintegration, Pradyumna, master of intelligence, as Aniruddha, master of mind, be pleased with me and help me in focusing my mind in your devotional service. This is Lord Shiva praying to the Supreme Lord. So Lord Shiva is teaching us how we should pray, what we should pray. Many times we go to temple, we don't know what to pray, how to pray. So these Mahajans give us the example. They are the examples how to pray. Mahajana yena gata supanta. So we can follow their footsteps, at least by reciting their prayers. While reciting those prayers, at some point of time, that bhava, that meaning will strike our heart, enter our consciousness. And Lord Shiva, he prays to the Lord as you are the Lord of psychic action, namely thinking, feeling, and willing. So nothing is like ours. Even the consciousness, everything comes from the Lord and is controlled by Him. What is ours? Sometimes the conditioned soul may think, may feel some entitlement of the skills or talents what they possess, but everything is like a borrowed clues given by the Lord. And next we see the quality of magnanimity of Lord Shiva. When Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, when demigods approach Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, whenever there is a problem in the material creation, all the demigods go to Brahma and all of them together approach Lord Vishnu in the milk ocean. Then usually Lord appears or speaks to Lord Brahma and he conveys it to the demigods. So when similarly thing happened once and Lord says, do milk, they all wanted Amrita. So you start churning the milk ocean, you will get the Amrita. So once, and this activity you have to do with demons, together with the demons. You see, in this world also, we have to do services with many inimical people. Sometimes we have to do. Then we can take inspiration from this. What Lord instructs, what Lord wants us to exhibit, to develop those qualities. Like when Devtas and Daityas together started, how could they churn? He provided them Vasuki as a rope and Mandarachala as the churning rod. And when they started churning again, it started sinking, and he himself became the tortoise and supported from the bottom. He did everything, but he wants to give the credit to his devotees. So he facilitated everything and they started churning. And any service or any activity, even we are doing, learning to do kirtan also. First, those imperfect ragas will come out, right? Like when I used to do that, my daughter used to say, I'm I cannot escape from here like that. So similarly, first when we do some service, imperfection, we are imperfected, especially speaking about myself. So when we start doing something, we will make many mistakes. And so the first thing is comes out is negative things. That is, here we see halahal, poison. And that is so deadly. It could burn the whole creation. So when that came, everyone was scared. Then Lord Shiva comes there silently and he talks to Parvati. He says to Parvati, with your permission, let me drink this poison for the benefit of all. And he drinks. With his power, he makes that entire poison into palm full and he drinks it. And because of that, the power of that poison, his throat becomes bluish. Here we see the whole body is bluish, but usually his throat becomes bluish. And that is the compassion of a Vaishnava. So they take all the risk, they take all the pain, they take all the poison in this world to benefit others. Such a selflessness. And we see in the whole family photo of Lord Shiva. The whole family photo of Lord Shiva. So we see different vehicles, like different living beings are there. Nandi, bull, is the vehicle of Lord Shiva. And Mother Parvati's vehicle is tiger. And this Kartikeya's vehicle is peacock. And we see Ganesh ji. Abhi Ganesh ka aane wala hai. So Ganesh's vehicle is rat, mouse, whatever. So, but we see, and there is a snake around the neck of Lord Shiva. And all of them, none of them fight. So, in the presence of a pure devotee, exalted Vaishnavas, the living beings act against their nature. They completely forget their inimical nature. They can be peaceful and they coexist together. So next comes, Lord Shiva becomes attracted to Mohini Murti. So when after the poison, Amrit came, and the Asuras and Suras, they started fighting for Amrit. And again the Lord jumps in to rescue. He comes as a Mohini Murti and he allures demons and he distributes Amrit to the demigods. Then after that, he disappears. Then when Lord Shiva heard that, he wanted to see the beautiful form, transcendental form of Krishna. So when he, Lord Shiva is a Dhira. He is never disturbed by even the most beautiful, his consort, Parvati, allures him, he never gets disturbed. He is Dhira. That Shiva, when he saw Mohini Murti, when Krishna comes as Mohini Murti, he becomes completely bewildered and he runs after her. So that shows that though Lord Shiva cannot be overpowered by external energy, Mahamaya, being his consort, but he can also be overpowered by Yogamaya, put under illusion by Yogamaya. And what a Mohini Murti does is, she runs in the areas where Lord Shiva's followers are meditating, performing austerities, to show them what Lord Shiva is. And Lord Shiva, after realizing that, I mean, when he becomes again Krishna, he realizes that out of love, he says that, my dear Lord, you are so enchanting. Your form is so enchanting. You can put anybody to illusion. So he didn't feel like ashamed. He wants to prove the greatness of the Supreme Lord, that you can even allure me. So who am I in front of your Yogamaya? So he wants to show that the power and supremacy of the Supreme Lord to his devotees and everybody. So devotees, Vaishnavas are completely selfless. They don't have any ego. So they are like puppets. Whatever the Lord desires, they just execute that. Now comes next Gopeshwar Mahadev. So Lord Shiva comes to Vrindavan, and he wants to have darshan of baby Krishna. And Yashoda Mai is so protective. She has been seeing so many, after killing of Putana, she becomes very alert, and she doesn't want to any this black magic or any negative elements around the house, or she doesn't, she wants to keep her son away from any kind of black magic persons like that who can do black magic. So one day Lord Shiva comes and in this form, and he asks for bhiksha. So Mother Yashoda brings some grains, and he says, Mother, can I have darshan of your beautiful son? Just once, one glance. Well, she is like very much afraid. Look at your appearance. There are snakes, and there is so many skulls around your body. Your dress is like animal skin. You are carrying trishul. Just by seeing you, even the adults are becoming afraid. And what will happen to my baby son? So she refuses. But Lord Shiva begs her so much. Still, she doesn't want to. So Lord Shiva is not disappointed, but he goes to little far away and sits there, and he sits in meditation. After some time, Krishna understands the desire of his pure devotee, and he gets fever. The body temperature rises, and he starts crying intensely. Mother Yashoda and other gopis try to pacify him, but he never stops. So finally, some remedy, some solution, check karo bolte. So she asks everyone, is there any solution? Is there any person who can drive away the negativity? Bring them. Then some gopis, they say, we have seen that Baba in the morning. Maybe he can do something. Then Mother Yashoda becomes very skeptical. No, I don't know what he will do. But some other gopi will silently go to him and begs him. Baba, will you want to come and have darshan of our Lala? So you wanted to have it, no, in the morning? Now you can have Krishna's darshan once. And he's crying so much. He has got fever. And hearing that, Lord Shiva smiles, and he follows them, and he comes. That he understood that Lord is reciprocating with him. So now Mother Yashoda brings Lord Krishna, and just once he takes Krishna into his hands, and Krishna becomes so happy, and his temperature goes down, he stops crying, and Mother Yashoda becomes very happy. And after that, they all request Lord Shiva to be close by to Nanda Bhavan, so that whenever they need in future, they can call him and he can pacify Krishna. So that he stays there even now as Gopeshwar Mahadev. And we can see the deity also, deity form of Gopeshwar Mahadev. In that, there is a temple after that. So this there is one more pastime of Gopeshwar Mahadev. One day, Lord Shiva wants to enter the rasa dance. So what he does is he dresses like a gopi and he comes there. But the gopi starts laughing, looking at him. Who is she? She is carrying while dancing. They see that snake, and finally they all become like. He becomes like he looks like funny. So then they say, "Okay, Shivaji, we understand you are you want to join us, but you can do better seva by being there as a doorkeeper, and do not let anyone enter the rasa dance, unqualified persons." So even now he resides in Brajadam at many places with different names, and he protects the Dham and from inimical people and from the effects of Kali Yuga. So you see different places like Bhuteshwar Mahadev in Mathura, western side, is the Dikpala Devi. And Gopeshwar Mahadev, Vrindavan, and according in Bhakti Ratnakara, Narahari Chakravarti Thakur mentions this pastime of Gopeshwar Mahadev. And Kameshwar Mahadev, western part of Braja. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 5:30. So next is Kameshwar Mahadev, western part of Raja. Bhakti Ratnakar, same Narahari Chakravarti Thakur mentions this. Vrishabhanu Maharaj worshipped Kameshwar Mahadev to get a daughter. And what kind of a daughter he got? Srimad Radharani. So next is Chakleshwar Mahadev at Govardhan Hill, northern side. Here, Manasi Ganga is known as Chakra Tirtha, and Nandeshwar Mahadev at Nandagaon. So, and after that, we will discuss about contribution, his contribution in just 5 minutes. I'll conclude. Contribution in delivering Srimad Bhagavatam. Punya Shri Mataji very wonderfully explained how Mother Parvati desires to hear Bhagavatam from Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva wants to give her his full attention, and without any disturbance he wanted to narrate Bhagavatam. So slowly, gradually, one by one, he sends away all his associates. First he leaves Nandi and other associates. After some time he leaves his serpent. He takes out the serpent from around his neck. Then after some time he takes out the moon also. And when finally they reach a place, I don't remember the name of the place. There under the tree, they sat. This Shuka comes and hears the Bhagavatam. So when Mother Parvati dozes off, so Shuka hears and responds. And Mahadev, in a very chastising, again motherly chastising mood, he chases Shuka with his trident, and Shuka enters the womb of wife of Vyasadeva. So here Lord Shiva is first narrates Bhagavatam, then Vyasadeva pens it down, composes Bhagavatam, recites, and Shukadev Goswami again, following the parampara, he narrates the same Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So this is Lord Shiva's contribution in giving Bhagavatam. And we see that Rudra Gita, I humbly request that when you get time, please go through these beautiful prayers of Rudra Gita. And also Lord Shiva has given us Sri Radhika Kripa Kataksha Stotram. It is composed by Lord Shiva and penned by Vyasadeva. And you can hear this from Bhakti Bringa Govinda Swami Maharaj. They recite so beautifully. And in conclusion, we say, wherever we are in the 14 stages of bhakti, whether it is, Satam Kripa, we got Satam Kripa. Without that causeless mercy of devotees, we wouldn't have come so far. And Mahat Seva, by serving the pure devotees, the Shraddha, our faith increases. And one takes Guru Padashraya and Bhajaneshu Spriha. After taking shelter of Guru, one can start Bhajana Kriya, and slowly Bhakti Lata Bija sprouts and Anartha Nivrutti happens, and we become steady, Nishta, then Ruchi. We develop the taste for hearing Bhagavatam and holy name, and then we develop that firm attachment, asakti. And next we fall in love with this bhava, fondness, that is fondness. Then prema, we develop a selfless love. Then we get the darshan of the Supreme Lord. That is 13th stage. And 14th stage is Harer Madhurya Bhava. Then we can directly experience the sweetness of the Lord. So Markandeya Rishi speaks in Bhagavatam 12th canto, 10th chapter, 34th verse. I request one benediction to Lord Shiva, he speaks. I request one benediction from you, who are full of all perfection and able to shower down the fulfillment of all desires. I ask to have unfailing devotion for the Supreme Lord. This is how we should pray to demigods. We don't disrespect them, and we don't worship them for other reasons. The only reason we worship them is begging for pure devotion to Supreme Lord. And I, as a devotion to you, since you are dedicated to the Lord, yeah, he is begging for the devotion towards Shiva also, because when we don't have devotion for the Vaishnavas, Lord will not be that much appreciating us. So we go through Vaishnavas. So Lord will be more merciful to those who worship his devotees. With that consciousness, with that understanding, if we worship Mahajans, then definitely Lord will be pleased with us, more pleased with us. Then demigods bestow. People may approach demigods for a different reason. So demigods bestow their mercy in two ways. One is sakapata kripa. So that means they don't bestow their mercy fully. They will not benefit you fully. You want some help, praying to Surya Dev, he will give you help. You want wealth, some other devta, they will give you wealth. But you want some promotion or nice life partner, many things are there. So they will see the credibility, and they bestow the material desires. But what if one approaches them, they may worship them with pure devotion. Then they bestow akapata kripa. Means they bestow their full mercy. They guide you how to reach the Supreme Lord. So based on the consciousness of the devotees, they respond. In Brahma Purana, it is said, Yohimam drashtumicha icheta brahmanam vapitamaham drashtavyastena bhagavan vasudeva pratapavan. This means that by knowing the Lord, all others are known. Shiva should be worshipped as a Vaishnav if one has to worship Shiva in some circumstances. For example, in Kerala, there is a place called Trishur. There, the deity Linga Spotaka Nrisimha. There was a Vaishnava who was requested to worship on behalf of some other Brahmana. He was a worshipper of Shiva. So what happened, that prince of that area, he was there. And when he was requested, he had to do it. He had no other choice. And that was the order of the prince, that worship has to go on. And for some reason, the other Brahmana could not do it, so he had to do it. So in such a kind of circumstances, what we should do? We should worship Lord Narasimha or whatever, Krishna's form, in that linga form, seeing that form in the linga form, like Janmantara Sahasreshu Samaradhya Vrishadvajam Vaishnavatam Labhet Dhiman Sarva Papa Kshaye Sati. The difference between the devotee of Lord Shiva and Nrsimha is clearly explained. So, a person with a sacred thread is equal to 100 persons without sacred thread. One grihastha, householder, is equal to 100 persons with threads. And one vanaprastha is equal to 100 householders. And one sannyasi is equal to 100 vanaprasthas. And one Shiva worshipper equal to 100 sannyasis. And one Atharva Shira, means one who has studied Atharva, is equal to 100 Shiva worshippers. One Narasimha Tapani Upanishad, one person who has studied Narasimha Tapani Upanishad is equal to 100 Shiva worshippers. And I'm sorry, one Narasimha Tapani Upanishad, one who has studied, is equal to 100 Atharva Siras. And one who chants Narasimha mantra is equal to 100 people who studied Upanishads, Narasimha Tapani Upanishad. So one who chants the mantra is far superior to one who studied the Upanishad. So you all should understand how rare it is to be able to chant Mahamantra. So this person could not worship that linga, chant other mantras. Accidentally, by mistake, he chants Om Nrsimhaya Namaha. He takes some flowers and he chants Narsimadeva's name comes out from his mouth. Immediately, that prince takes out his sword to behead this person. At that time, Lord Nrsimha springs out of that linga. Linga is torn into two pieces, breaks into two pieces, and he comes out and kills that prince immediately. So that temple is still there in Thrissur, Kerala. And so worshipping the Shiva independently brings the curse of Brigus. We see Daksha. When Lord Shiva is in that Vasudeva sthiti, he was meditating on the Lord in Samadhi. Daksha performs a sacrifice, Prajapati. At that time, Lord Brahma is also present there. At that time, everybody stands up and pays respect to Daksha. But Brahma being father, he never gets up, and Lord Shiva is in meditation. So he was completely aloof what is happening outside. But Daksha, instead of recognizing his samadhi, he takes it an offense and he starts chastising Lord Shiva, blaspheming actually. You are so unclean, you wear snakes and you carry skulls around your neck and you carry trident. You are so fearful, you live in the crematorium, you apply ashes. Actually, my dear daughter, most beautiful daughter, shouldn't have been given to you. But this Brahma arranged all this. I had to do it. I had to listen. So in this way, he does this. And Lord Shiva silently, when he comes to consciousness, he leaves that place. He is not disturbed. He is a dhira. But when after they leave, again, Daksha performs another sacrifice. This time, he will not invite Shiva and Sati. And he invites everyone. But Sati is so much attached to his her family. She wants to go because since childhood, he didn't perform any sacrifice without Sati. So she wanted to attend, and Lord Shiva warns her. He doesn't have any respect for me. And if you go there, you will only have to face humiliation. And you don't deserve that. Please don't go. But Sati, out of her attachment, somehow she ignores Lord Shiva's warning and she goes. So Lord Shiva sends Nandi with her. And there again, Daksha ignores her and he blasphemes Lord Shiva again. And she couldn't tolerate blaspheming her husband. Actually, she wanted to, because she couldn't respond there in presence of Shiva. So she leaves. Now she comes back actually with that bitterness in her heart also. So now what she says is, you are so proud of your material opulences. And this body has come from your semen. I don't want to live in this body anymore. So she invokes fire there and then she gives up her body, turns into ashes. Lord Shiva could tolerate all Daksha's insults, but he could not tolerate when he comes to know about this Sati's sacrifice. He immediately creates Veerabhadra. He becomes so angry, and Veerabhadra comes and chops off Daksha's head. And After some time, Lord Shiva comes there again. You see how merciful Lord Shiva is. And Daksha's wife falls at his feet and she begs, please forgive Daksha. I have already been crying for Sati, my daughter, and you made me cry again for Daksha. Please, Shiva, please forgive us. Then by seeing her tears, he immediately gets a goat head and replaces. But Daksha, being Prajapati, couldn't tolerate that insult, could not continue his life with that goat head. He gives up that body and he again takes birth in next Manvantara, again as Daksha Prajapati. So here we see how merciful Lord Shiva is. And he gives shelter to such a people who are in Tamoguna and ignorant and Bhuta, Preta, Pisacha, and ghastly beings. Those who are in completely in the lower modes also, if they take shelter of Lord Shiva, he helps them, elevate from that stage. Then by worshipping Lord Shiva independently. So when this happened, actually, when after the first sacrifice, when Veerabhadra chops off Daksha's head, Bhrigu curses all Lord Shiva's followers should become atheists. So that curse, being a Brahmana's curse, that is very effective. Even today we see many of Lord Shiva's followers being addicted to smoking ganja, drugs, and intoxication, and attached to sex life. So they imitate Shiva, but actually, and they are so ignorant. So that is the effect of the curse of Bhrigu. And this happened all because of the misunderstanding or misidentification of a conditioned soul like Daksha. And what happens when a person worships Lord Shiva purely? We see 4 kinds of worshipping. One is worshipping the Supreme Lord, worshipping the demigods. The difference. Worshipping the Supreme Lord is always the best thing, because somehow or the other, if someone approaches the Supreme Lord, there are chances of becoming pure devotees, even if they approach him with material desires. But when they approach demigods, if there are less chances of becoming pure devotees. If they approach with pure desire, then also if they come in contact with a Vaishnava like Lord Shiva or any pure devotee, unless they come in contact with a Vaishnava, Bhakti Sukruti cannot, that Uddipana cannot happen in the heart of the living entity. So the worst thing is to approach demigods with material desires. So, I mean, that is like a cycle. Again and again they go and they are cheated. They are actually being cheated. And the Supreme Lord also chastises demigods. Those who approach for the material desires are fools. And they are those who fulfill those material desires are even greater fools. So with this, we will last line. So what is bhakti? Bhakti means, in general public, people think bhakti means going to temple and worshipping and asking for something. But the original meaning of bhakti is selflessness. So if we can't develop this devotion, service, even if we follow Varnashrama Dharma perfectly, it is a waste of time. We see over a period of time, everybody has to develop this selflessness. Unless we develop this selflessness, there is no hope of coming out of this cycle of birth and death, because eating, sleeping, mating, depending, all these four activities, bodily activities, are based on selfish desires. So the selflessness we can learn, by performing these things, we can become pure and pure. Over a period of time, even the land becomes pure. See, when there is somebody urinates on the land, after some time, few days, if you go, it will not stink, because of the sun comes and purifies that place. And by bathing every day, body gets purified. By samskaras, birth gets purified. By tapasya, senses, our senses become purified. By charity, giving our wealth, wealth becomes purified. By satisfaction, mind gets purified. By spiritual knowledge, the soul gets purified. So if one cannot do pure devotion directly, at least assist those who are doing pure devotion. So this is what aligning ourselves and Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are not different in their thought process. They are perfectly